What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Nocturnal Movie Club. I am joined by my esteemed co-hosts Ethan Thing and Jake King. Today we are breaking down the Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 1. Ethan, break it down for us, please.
I would love to. So glad we got back to some traditional, good old fashioned Marvel MCU action movie stuff. We kick it off with Sam, aka the Falcon, going through a really high intensity, sort of cold open where he's navigating through and trying to stop a new criminal organization we're now learning about called the LAF, aka the Flag Smashers. He goes through to save another soldier, and he does so successfully, and that kills off the first 10 minutes of the episode. Great reintroduction, very traditional Marvel, very cinematic. He then transitions to a more somber moment where he kind of starts to put back the pieces of what happened after Endgame with the blip and with Captain America's shield. He still has it, and he kind of has this very somber moment where he says he's not the one that he feels should carry on the mantle. He does so publicly at the Smithsonian Museum, and then in private with Don Cheadle. They have the same conversation where they talk about you should have been the one to pick up the mantle, and still he feels reluctant to do so. At the same time, we have Bucky having his own very opposite dilemma, where instead of being haunted by a good past and thinking about it warmly, he's haunted by a negative past, constantly thinking about all the crimes he committed for Hydra and all of the evil as well as innocent people that died in the process. As he's talking to a psychologist, he's trying to reflect on that and going through how he makes, as he calls it, amends with those he helped put into positions of power. Bucky's struggling to live a normal life. His only friend is an elderly Asian man who lives in the same apartment building as him, who is trying to help him out. But we later learn out that the only reason he's doing this may be because he's the one who killed his son. Bucky's unable to readjust to normal life, and at the same time, as we join Sam in his daily life, is also unable to readjust. There's not as much need for an Avenger. He's doing contract work for the Air Force, and he's constantly trying to rescue anyone he can, including his sister and their failing family business. He steps in and is unable to do anything, but we could see the way he interacts with everybody from the business owner in the Middle East to the bank clerk at Louisiana, that everybody loves him and everyone thinks fondly of him, and that his past is reflected great on him, whereas Bucky is the opposite. And we finally get towards the big climactic close after we find out Sam is struggling, he cannot get the bank loan, and Bucky is alone and has no friends, and neither of them are willing to take up the true mantle of Captain America that the U.S. government has gone on without them, and have created their own Captain America. Who this person is, we know very little about.
Well, the end credit scene points towards to John Walker, also known as U.S. Agent in the comments. He looked like a complete douchebag. There was a lot of
That's for sure.
I thought it was a good episode. I thought it was a good episode. I won't say great. I thought it was a good episode. I thought everything they did with the Falcon was awesome. I didn't think his fight scenes were ever going to be that cool. I thought they definitely, whoever studied aerodynamics and whoever went to the science class that day to figure out how to use his skill set was great and did a great job. There's a lot of good things in here. One, I love the dynamic between him and his sister. I thought that was great. It was very like real world issues about people getting loans and who I don't think anyone knew what the hell the SBA loan was until last year, come the pandemic, and now we all know what SBA loan is. So I thought it was great that ended up in there. And everyone wants one. We're all struggling. So those parallels I thought were great. But also at the same time, it didn't make sense for him to not just call Pepper Potts and get a huge $1 million loan. I thought the stuff with Bucky was interesting. I was awesome seeing Winter Soldier in that flashback, because at first I was confused. I'm like, wait, is this a clone, or is this a new Winter Soldier? And then oh, it's a flashback. And so I thought that was cool to see him again. I always love a Winter Soldier action scene. Those are my favorite Marvel scenes. Some of my favorite Marvel action scenes. I would love a reason to why he cut his hair. Hopefully we get that down the line, what made him cut the locks, what led to his government pardon, a few question marks there. I thought that date he went on was weird.
I actually forgot they were on a date, those two.
That
Yeah, it
poor
was just weird
girl.
because he just like left in the middle of the day. I was like,
And he didn't say he was I'll be right back.
yeah, he just like got up, stood up, and like walked out. It was so random and weird. It was also said a lot about government and like the show said a lot of things about society, like about government
Yes.
and people having
Yeah.
issues with trusting government, and so I thought a lot of bold moves here from Marvel. So which I could, although I had a few questions, but I thought a couple of great statements here by Marvel. Jake, what do you think?
I pretty much got more or less what I expected going into it. That it wasn't gonna like have the intrigue that WandaVision had. That we were just gonna get some standard MCU material, and but for that, I thought they did a really good job. Like you said, I like all the commentary they had in there. Like let's say on post-pandemic life. Also, one of the scenes that really stood out to me was when they were trying to get the loan, Sam and his sister, and they turned him down, and there's like no real sense of remorse or sympathy in that sense. And
Yeah,
like,
it was very relatable content.
yeah,
I love what this group at the what's that group called? The
the
anti-flag and the
Oh,
flag.
Flag Smashers.
Flag
Yeah, the
Smashers, yes.
Flag Smashers. I think they seem cool.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see where they get their. Obviously, they have to have some type of the super soldier serum because they're juiced up. My question is like, it must be a lot of super soldier serum going around because you have that they have it. I'm sure U.S. agents going to have it. Is Sam gonna get some? I heard we have a couple different Captain Americas probably in this. So I think it's a lot of super soldier serum going around. So that's a question mark. I love Sam's sidekick in the army. He's fun. I thought he was great.
Oh yeah, they had a really like tight chemistry in the beginning.
Yeah. I think we'll be seeing a
Yeah,
lot
I thought
more
he was
of
gonna
him
die
too.
in the action scene when the flag leader came over and basically stomped his head into the ground. I'm like, well, there goes Sam's sidekick.
But then when you see him on the video call, and he looks like he shook it off after like 5 minutes.
Right. I'm like, you have some super soldier syndrome too? Like, I think they're just giving it out now.
I think that's commentary on the vaccine.
Yes, and post blip is post pandemic. There's a lot of
Interesting.
parallels here.
Really
I love
is.
that. I love that we got the cameo from Don Chino / War Machine
Yeah.
/ Iron Patriot / upcoming show Armor Wars.
It is probably going to set up for our Armor Wars, I would imagine.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
I'm sure. Well, the next show is low key, so we'll see. I wonder why Sam has been texting Bucky of all people. I guess maybe Steve wanted him to keep in touch with him to check on him. Maybe that's the thing. I love that the public doesn't think Steve is dead, which is great. Setting up his possible return. He's on the moon. It was great seeing the guy from Winter Soldier again, the villain, the mini villain who had a fight with Cap in the beginning. So it was cool to see him. Hopefully we see him again. And I can't wait till we get Zemo. Which I don't know if you guys noticed, Zemo was on Bucky's like list of like people who did him wrong and people he has to like make up to. Zemo was on there, so planted that little seed. So a lot of seed planting, I think, is the overall theme of this episode.
Honestly, I think this is a really good starting episode. I give this one a really strong rating, in my opinion, because I feel like it does do everything like that. To me, it sets up perfectly what is Sam's motivation, where is he at in life, and what is a world like for an Avenger with no villain to fight, no big villain.
Being
And
an
the
Avenger
same-
sucks, apparently.
Being Avenger actually sucks, yeah, because I think I was on the same page with the banker. I was like, so how are y'all making this money? Like, what are you doing to pay the bills? And it's just donations. That's crazy. I thought Stark would have put a fund together for them and supported them that way, but maybe not. But yeah, the fact that we kind
I
of
think he was at one point. I think before the official Sokovia Accords, I think they were funded. Well, they didn't have to worry about rent or food. They all lived on the
they had
compound.
the big estate, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then during Civil War, they were considered dangerous. So I'm assuming like they couldn't get money that easily.
Which is why I found the whole thing of the new Captain America figure so interesting, because after Civil War, there's been a lot of debate about whether or not heroes are good. And they come across and they say, well, actually, we do definitely need heroes. We'll just recreate Captain America from scratch. and they come up with a new guy.
I'm curious to see the new Captain America's role, because right now he's the new Captain America, and obviously Zemo is the main villain of the show. So I'm wondering how does he play into this role? Does he by the end of the series, does he become a U.S. agent? Does him and Zemo team up? So I'm just curious to see how he factors into things going further. Maybe he bites the dust. Maybe he's one and done. Maybe he dies. We'll see.
With a TV show, especially this one's going to be 6 episodes long, I think, you kind of want to leave something where it's like, oh, I really want to see where this is going to go.
Yeah.
And I think the only thing they wanted to do is to say, these are the players, these are why they're here. Why are they here? We'll have to find out. That's where we're leaving off. I think it's good.
I think we were spoiled by WandaVision.
WandaVision was interesting. WandaVision came at it with a completely different angle and was all about the mysteries. This is more traditional, all about the cinematic approach to storytelling.
Yeah. So how do you think things would be like if Falcon and Winter Soldier came out first before WandaVision? Because I think at one point Falcon and Winter Soldier was supposed to come out first.
It was meant to start a couple weeks prior to it. I haven't thought about how I would have felt about that. I still think WandaVision was the best way to start it off. If they did this first and then went to WandaVision, I feel like there was a lot more questions I would have wanted to be answered, because WandaVision kind of answered a lot of questions about the blip, life after the blip, what immediately happened after Endgame. And even this show is meant to take place after WandaVision, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, the timeline is weird because even Far From Home is after both Falcon and Winter Soldier and WandaVision.
Oh,
and we already saw Far From Home.
So, you're right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Far From Home. Yeah. So it's interesting, their timeline of how those things play out. The show overall kind of reminded me back to like Winter Soldier and how it's like a political thriller.
Yeah.
I think this has the same vibe of it being a political thriller. It's like kind of a detective, like kind of like what's that show on HBO?
True Detective.
The one with Matthew McConaughey that they had. It has some
True
kind
Detective.
of True Detective vibes. Yeah, mixed with like an action movie.
It's always been the nature of it, like a Cold War thriller in some ways. And I like that. That's what I like about it. I feel like it's good old fashioned MCU, and I'm loving it.
Yeah.
No, totally. And we're only getting 6 episodes, so we're getting very full episodes, which is fun.
And I think I'll be on my island for this one. But I think by the end of it, Winter Soldier will be better than WandaVision. That's my personal take on it. I think WandaVision, though, definitely needs 2 or 3 more rewatches before that fight could be settled. But
well,
just
that's
first
never
watch alone. Yeah. I don't like to rewatch too many things, but I think 2 to 3. I think at the end of this, though, because they set up the moralities really well, and I kind of like the ideas they're putting across. And I hate saying things that like it's relevant for our times, but this one is kind of relevant, and it's kind of interesting to see a discussion that people are having every day be played out on TV, which is nice.
Yeah. I'm telling you, the way the world works, like the MCU is feeding off of that.
Prophetic almost.
What we're looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing the return of Agent 13. I'm looking forward to seeing Zemo and why this comes on, because we get his comic accurate costume. So I'm excited about that. Oh, what do you guys think of Falcon's new suit?
Pretty cool. I never thought like the old suit was terrible. It's cool.
Yeah, I was kind of like passive with it too.
What about you?
Yeah, I think it's my least favorite MCU costume. Because it's like
it doesn't feel like a costume.
No, it's the least comic accurate out of even like I hate it worse than Wanda's old costume, actually.
Yeah.
He's gonna get his actual costume by the end?
No, if anything, I think here I go again. Spoiler alert. But no, by the end of the season, we're gonna get his Captain America version costume.
Yes. And I think by the end of it too, I forgot the name of the soldier, the one that was assisting, he's gonna take up the Falcon suit. I think that's how it's gonna go off.
Oh, but see, remember in the comics though, he was in the comics in a alternate universe or something. I don't know if it was alternate universe or not, but in the comics though, he had like actually mutated wings. Maybe he'll be a mutant. Maybe we get mutants
interesting.
But he was like I think a mutant or an inhuman, and he had actual like wings that grew out of him when he was Falcon.
I can't wait for the mutants to start bending into this, man.
I know.
Oh, and one big Easter egg I forgot. On Bucky's list, there were a lot of interesting characters on there. One of the names was the scientist who would go on to give the Venom serum to Flash Thompson.
Hmm.
I thought that was kind of interesting that they had that name on there. The others, I looked up what those guys' names were.
I think it's a
Some
purely
were
Easter
interesting.
egg.
Yeah, no one's gonna look into who those people are. But
Yeah.
I noticed that one. That one was like interesting. I like that. Kind of confirming some suspicions about future Spider-Man villains that we're gonna get.
No, it's purely like a fun nod. I can confirm that you will not see Venom in the MCU.
That makes more sense because I don't see how he could fit in at this
Well,
point.
let's see how Let There Be Carnage comes out.
Yeah,
Because
which I read about today. I heard it's Andy Serkis is very excited about, as he should be. But yeah.
So are we gonna do? Are we doing ratings for this episode?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we're doing ratings.
Yes. Overall, I'm going to give this episode a 7. I'm looking forward to seeing what they can bring. Hopefully, is next episode 7.5. I'm excited about all those seeds. I'm excited about what to come. I'm excited to see Agent 13 again. I'm excited to see some more cameos. Maybe we get a Nick Fury cameo. Maybe a Maria Hill cameo. DC.
How many do you think there will be Skrulls?
There's definitely maybe 30 Skrulls in this episode. Yeah, I'm excited to see all the things we're getting. I heard we're getting another Young Avenger in this film, in this show, because the Young Avengers are coming. And yeah, overall, I'm pretty excited about this show. Ethan?
I'm gonna go high. I'm gonna give this one an 8 out of 10. Maybe 8.5 at a high end. I'm gonna go full high because this is quintessential Marvel. And if anybody knows anything about me, I love quintessential Marvel. They got the basics. If you were to ask me what could I have done better if I was directing or writing this, there's nothing you could do better. They've got everything you need there. Good characters, good setups. The only thing they could do now is screw the execution. So I think this is everything I want. So for a vanilla viewer as well, they're gonna love this. Regular guy who's not following the MCU that closely is gonna go into this and love everything about it. So 8 out of 10, I think, is fair.
And I think for me, I'm gonna go 7 out of 10. I like this episode a lot, like in a lot of areas. I think the action is really well filmed, especially in all the Falcon flight scenarios. They do work in a lot of really relevant material into the story. I think they established the characters really well in this. It's a nice, easy move. It's a nice, easy transition into it. I just like I still have some questions lingering off of this. But I keep it at 7 because I think this is a good start, but I think it could be even better, like going forward. So at the very least, I'm looking forward to that. So 7.
One more thing I want to add in, I forgot. They also worked in the moralities and the themes that they're going to want to explore in the series.
Yes.
And I think I was telling you guys before the show started about a certain movie I had reviewed yesterday. And one of the big faults in that movie was presenting flawed moralities. But this is a perfect example of how to do it right in an action show. So I think by doing that, they get credit on my book for that.
No, yeah, I love this theme of like, am I good enough type of thing? Am I good? Like, and they're both our main characters. It's so funny. WandaVision had 2 main characters. And Falcon still just 2 main characters. Loki would be the first show that like they focus on one person. But both of our main characters are struggling with like this confidence thing, and it's for very, very different reasons. So I love the juxtapose of that as well. So like you said, yeah, they really knocked it out the park with themes and messages here.
Yeah, especially given like all the pandemic allegories, like how we're gonna re-enter life like once everything's over.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This is another episode of the Knockturnal Movie Club. We will be back next week for episode 2. Stay tuned.
Thanks.